The UK non-dom regime is scrapped. What does that mean for expats? In my opinion, I think long-term British expats are the winners, and I'll explain why in this video. But before I do that, just a quick intro. My name's Niall. I am a UK qualified wealth manager. I've been over in the UAE for 6 years. I've got 30 clients spanning across the globe. And on this YouTube channel, I'll be talking about all aspects of finance, whether that's investments, alternative assets, tax planning, citizenship and residency schemes, all the way through to just documenting my 12 years of experience in the financial industry. But let's get started and straight onto the topic of the UK budget. Last week, it was announced that the non-dom regime has been scrapped. This is a monumental change because the domicile regime was in existence for over 2 centuries. It comes to an end on the 6th of April 2025, and I'll explain why I think British expats are the long-term winners from this change. A good place to start is to go over what the UK domicile was and what the new long-term resident regime is. Before, if you were a UK domicile, your worldwide estate would be assessed for inheritance tax on death, regardless of where you lived. Take me, for example. My father was born in Greenwich, London, so I'm born UK domicile, as your domicile generally follows your father's lineage. And no matter where I live, under the existing domicile regime, I would be caught by the inheritance tax net. In my experience, I had clients who would dispute their domicile. And to that, I would typically say the domicile regime has a very adhesive quality. It's subjective, ambiguous, and it's really, really hard to shake off. In most instances, no matter what efforts were made to lose the UK domicile, a British person by origin would have the domicile status for life. The most extreme example I've personally seen, I've handled this case myself, of somebody trying to lose their domicile was a client who sold all of his UK properties, cancelled his golf club membership, cancelled his Arsenal season ticket, and he even stopped speaking to his sister. Okay, only one of four of those was alive, and it was his season ticket. Poor joke, but he went to extreme lengths to shake off his domicile, and we still couldn't be certain he'd avoid inheritance tax until he passed away. So this transition from a residency-based test, from this perspective, is a good thing because it does clear up a lot of the ambiguity. Though it's been controversial for British expats, I think it actually improves the situation. It's now pretty simple. Just remember the number 10. Under the new regime, if you've been outside the UK for 10 years or more, you fall outside the inheritance tax net based on your non-UK assets. Any UK-based assets will still be assessed for inheritance tax on death, but your non-UK assets will be outside the inheritance tax net, which now makes planning a lot simpler. For British expats who have been offshore for a while, the simplification of the IHT rules actually makes it a bit more attractive to consider returning to the UK. I've had clients and just people that I speak to who were reluctant to even set foot in the UK due to concerns over Labour's aggressive tax policies. And yes, Labour has admittedly increased capital gains tax by a few percentage points. But with the 10-year inheritance tax incentive, alongside the new foreign and income gains regime, I'm saying to clients who wanted to come back to the UK but had trepidations due to the tax concerns that it's now something that they might want to reconsider. It's now back on the table as an option. And just to explain why, not only do you have 10-year foreign assets inheritance tax exemption, you also get 4 years once you return from your stint overseas to remit foreign income and profits free from income and capital gains tax. So let's say you have a platform in Luxembourg or Hong Kong with mostly stocks and shares. Before, you would have to think about selling those assets before returning to the UK to avoid capital gains tax. Now you've got 4 years to balance those assets out if you're aiming to minimize your tax exposure. It's fairly similar with inheritance tax. You now have a 10-year clock to put your plans in place, make your estate as tax efficient as possible. That could be done by gifting, trust planning, or insurance. And typically, to get a robust estate plan in place, it can take years. And with this new regime, it's brought a lot of time to get your affairs in order. So to wrap up, for expats, it's now easier to plan under the old domicile regime, making UK, in my opinion, an attractive option again. For British expats who have planted their flag elsewhere, so people who've set up in US, Hong Kong, Singapore, in my opinion, they've become big winners because non-UK assets now fall outside the IHT scope from the 6th of April, 2025. That's my opinion and interpretation. I would love to hear yours. If you thought this video was worth watching, it is my first YouTube video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and give me any feedback. Or if you would like to have to understand exactly what the new regime means for you and your plans, do not hesitate to be in touch. My contact details will be in the description of this YouTube video. Thank you.